Hi everyone, welcome back to Life with RA Plus. Last week I left off on starting my holistic approach, so let's get into that. So if you saw my last video, you saw that I gave up milk, eggs, cheese, and bananas. And during my holistic approach, I kept that diet and I started to eat organic only. I was eating nothing but organic foods, whether it was snacks, meat, pastas, everything was organic. Fruits and veggies, and especially when I would juice, they had to be organic. I was very nitpicky on what I wanted, so I had to make sure everything was organic. I saw an acupuncturist and a chiropractor. So before I saw my chiropractor, I did speak to my rheumatologist. I just wanted to make sure that it was okay with him that I take that approach because I wasn't exactly sure if it was going to counteract with any medicines I was taking or if it would harm me or anything like that. So I saw my rheumatologist just to get the okay from him. And at the time, he was very open to natural remedies. And even though he was into Western medicine, so he gave me the okay and I went to go see the acupuncturist. When I first started seeing the acupuncturist, I was seeing him twice a week. He did want to see me more, but at the time, my insurance didn't cover it. So I was only able to afford twice a week because I was paying out of pocket. And each visit was about $75. So, that's $150 a week, 600 bucks a month. And I know it's for my health, but that's all I could do at the time. So when I saw him, I told him that I had rheumatoid arthritis and I told him my main problems that I wanted him to focus on, which was my right knee and my wrist at the time. My hip was okay-ish. It wasn't bothering me so much. It was still at that point where if I sat down too long and I stood up, I felt like I needed to move a certain way in order for it to feel okay, or it felt like it needed to pop. So I was still in that stage with my hip. We eventually did go to my hip, but in the beginning, it was just my right knee and my wrists. So when he started, he told me that just because my knee hurts doesn't mean that's where the source of the problem is. So when he told me that, I was kind of confused, and he explained to me that every body part is connected somehow. So because I was having an issue in my knee, that the source of the problem could have been coming from my foot. And that's what he focused on. I mean, other than the RA, it affecting my joint, but the reason why he triggered my foot was because I wasn't walking the way I was supposed to because of my pain in my knee. I was kind of tiptoeing around and I didn't want to apply so much pressure. So my foot was becoming part of the problem and it was affecting my knee. So that was something new and interesting to learn. So when he started putting in those little acupuncture needles, he started mainly in my foot. So on top of my foot, my Achilles, my heel, even my big toe, he put a needle in. And I did have some needles in my right knee, but the main focal point was the foot. And so when it came to my wrists, he actually focused on my elbows. So from the way I was sitting, it was affecting my wrists. So it's crazy to think because we all know our body parts are connected. We're holding ourselves up together, but it's crazy to know that a nerve in my shoulder could be affecting my hand. So while I was seeing the acupuncturist, I was also seeing a chiropractor. And now when I first saw the chiropractor, he actually told me, I cannot work on you. Your body is so tense and so tight that it's as if I was in a car accident and somebody rear-ended me going 70 miles per hour. So in order for him to adjust me, I needed to loosen up my muscles and my body. And the way to do that was I needed to see a massage therapist first. And luckily they had the massage therapist there at the chiropractor. So I needed to see her before he can even adjust me. So I think I had 3 sessions of massages before he even saw me. And luckily, my insurance covered that. So the only thing I was paying out of pocket there was a tip for the massage therapist. When he was finally able to see me, he adjusted me. And I'm not sure if you guys ever been to the chiropractor, but when you've seen some videos and you see them like their bodies cracking, and you're like, oh my gosh, like first you're kind of like, oh, like what if that breaks or what if that falls off or what if he snaps my neck? But I swear, once he cracked my body or adjusted my body, I felt so lightweight. And it was amazing to feel. So because of the RA, my body was going to keep tensing by itself. So he wanted me to get a massage before I saw him again. So I still had these sessions of massages that I went to, which were amazing. And then he would adjust me. So going back to the acupuncturist, and on the second week, he asked me if I noticed a difference. And yeah, I noticed a difference. So the first week I did not notice a difference at all. But the second week I noticed a difference and I told him, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm getting a cortisone shot or if it's the acupuncture. And the face that he gave me, he looked so disappointed. I don't think he knew what else to say. He just said, okay. And the way he looked at me was like, lady, like I'm trying to fix you with these natural remedies and you're still injecting this stuff into your body. So he didn't tell me that, but that's what I got from that look. Like he was so like, like, are you kidding me? So after that, I didn't tell him, but I told myself, okay, I won't give myself any cortisone shots and I'll do this for real and see if it actually works. He also gave me herbal supplements. And when I was off my medication, I was just taking those. So I can't remember exactly what was in them, but I know they worked because they kept the pain away. So during this time, I'm eating organic as often as I can. So my lunches, I'm starting to take lunch to work. I saw the acupuncturist, I'm seeing the chiropractor, I'm still juicing. I did the acupuncture and the chiropractic care for about 6 months. And through those 6 months, little by little, I noticed my pain was going away. I was starting to wean off my medication. So the naproxen I stopped using. The methotrexate I stopped using. To be honest, I didn't like the methotrexate to begin with. So I was kind of excited to get off that. The Humira, he had prescribed me a self-injection once every week when it's supposed to be once every 2 weeks. And I started to do it once every 2 weeks. And then eventually I weaned myself off of that completely. So at one point I was taking no medication and I stopped visiting my rheumatologist only because I felt like I didn't need to anymore because I didn't have this pain anymore. So then we fast forward the 6 months and, life as we know it gets chaotic. And so that's how it was for me at work. It started to get chaotic. And at that point, I became so busy that I kind of stopped making my lunches. I tried to sleep in as much as I could before I had to go to work. And so I stopped packing my lunches little by little. And when it came lunchtime, then I started eating out and I wasn't on my organic routine. So after the 6 months, I'm starting to eat out more. I stopped visiting the acupuncturist and the chiropractor, not only because it was starting to get pricey, but because I felt like I was doing better that I didn't need to see them as often. Boy, was I wrong. When I stopped seeing them, I noticed a difference because that pain in my knee started to come back. The pain in my wrist started to come back. And I don't know why, but instead of going back to them, I went to my rheumatologist. Guessing it was because I knew I was covered through insurance. He wanted some answers, why haven't I seen you? Where have you been? What's been going on? So when I saw him, I told him that for those 6 months, I was completely pain-free. And I told him all the things I was doing. And, he was happy for me. He was glad to hear it. But when he found out that the pain had came back, he said that my RA could have progressed because I wasn't on the medication. So, hearing that now, like it sounds more like a push to take his medicine rather than go back and see if that works for you. But my insurance covered this medicine, so that's why I continued with this medicine, with the Western medicine with my rheumatologist. I slowly started to go downhill from there. My knee was starting to hurt again. My wrists were starting to hurt again. And I saw my rheumatologist about every 6 weeks. So when I saw him again 6 weeks later, he told me, because I still had the pain, he had to give me a cortisone shot, did all the blood work, and he said, your inflammation markers are up and we need to get you back on your medication. He said because I was off my Humira for a while, that I can try it again with once every 2 weeks, and then we'll go from there. I said, okay. And I told him I didn't want to take the methotrexate anymore because I didn't like it. So he said that he would get me started on Plaquenil. And so when I saw him 6 weeks later, my pain was still there and I still had these pains and it didn't seem like anything was improving. So he upped my Humira back to the once a week. And he told me, it could be stress from your job. And, at the time, my job became a hostile environment to work in because the boss was just so horrible to all the employees. It wasn't only me, but it was to all the employees that she was so horrible to. But I wanted to stick it through. But my doctor had told me, when it comes to your health, there's a point when you say enough is enough, because I explained to him about my job. He knew what kind of field I was in, and he knows that it can be stressful. He said, what I can do for you is fill out the forms for disability leave, and you can go on disability leave until we get your pain under control. Once your pain is under control, then you can go back to work if you want. I took him up on his advice, and I said, okay, let's do that. So when I went back to work, surprisingly, they were very understanding. I mean, because I had disclosed to them before they hired me that I had rheumatoid arthritis, and they were completely fine with it. So when I told my boss and, HR that my doctor recommends I go on disability leave due to my health condition, towards the end, they were, buttholes, as bosses can be sometimes. But it was very surprising to see that they were very understanding. And so I told them, due to my condition, my doctor wants me to go on disability leave and just until I get my pain under control. And they even told me, once you get it under control, if you like, you can have a job back here. And I was kind of glad that they said, okay, they didn't give me a hard time. They didn't fight it. So that's what I did. I went on disability leave and that was my last day of work. So for the 6 months, I was in bliss. I had no pain. I was doing things that I hadn't done before, like pumping my own gas, getting up off the floor without help. And that was so amazing to me. And I eventually do want to go back to that. I'm on a different routine right now, but eventually I do want to go back and see if that works for me again. As we age, things stop working for us or they don't work as great anymore, but that's definitely something that I want to go back to and try out again. And that was my approach on the holistic route. Unfortunately, my pain did come back and I had to start a new medication. So if you'd like to stay tuned for my next video, I will share that story with you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you then.